Boogie Nights, a 1997 indie comedy drama written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. In a nutshell, it is a story about Eddie Adams, played by Mark Wahlberg, who is a teenager in 1977 and works as a busboy in a San Fernando Valley nightclub. He is soon discovered by Jack Horner, a talented adult filmmaker and auteur who recognizes that Eddie has a gift. A big gift.
Thank you, Eddie.
On paper, this film seems to deal with a silly topic, with a cliché rise-to-fame story possibly resulting in a dry 2.5-hour comedy. However, Anderson does a remarkable job at incorporating gripping moments of tension and suspense, while also not entirely losing the sick sense of humor that permeates throughout the film.
Full flip.
Anderson creates playful character interactions, the use of different film techniques to indicate a change in mood, and the creation of unsettling atmospheres for both the characters and audience to achieve his desired level of suspense and humor throughout the film. First, let's take a look at some of the character interactions. According to an article titled Boogie Nights, Depiction, Endorsement, and the Wounded Humanity of Paul Thomas Anderson's film, Andrew Bloom writes, "There are certainly funny moments in the film. Buck's clothing choices and his corresponding grand debates about them, Dirk's pitch for a James Bond-esque series of pornographic films, and fellow leading man Reed Rothschild's barely restrained game of one-upsmanship with newcomer Dirk is undeniably amusing."
Hey, did you ever see that movie Star Wars?
Oh, about 4 times.
People tell me I look like Han Solo.
Really?
But he argues that Anderson doesn't play these moments for laughs, at least not completely. He plays them for the sad sweetness of sincerity. This statement resonates deeply throughout the film, and it is made clear that Anderson is not trying to intentionally find the humor, rather he is letting it come out of the vibrance and honesty of his characters naturally.
How's it going?
What's wrong with you?
Oh, my fucking wife, man. She's down there, some idiot's dicking her. Everybody's standing around watching. It's a fucking embarrassment.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, listen.
On to the second point regarding film techniques. In a journal titled The Desire-Frustration Theory of Suspense by Aaron Smuts, he recounts an interview from 1962 in which Francois Truffaut questions Alfred Hitchcock about his secrets on creating suspense. He writes, "According to Hitchcock, the key to the most effective method of arousing suspense is to give the audience some crucial information that the characters lack." Not only does this method hold true in Boogie Nights, but Anderson purposely stylizes specific scenes and sequences to increase further tension throughout the film. For example, the long take is a film technique used sparsely throughout the film. Anderson uses this technique to illustrate the importance of certain scenes and to indicate to the audience that something significant will happen. In an article titled The Paul Thomas Anderson Retrospective Part 2, Boogie Nights, the author writes, "The most effective use of the long take in this film is the scene in which William H. Macy's character, Little Bill, snaps. Something about its cold simplicity just meshes well with the creepy casualness that Little Bill goes into exacting his revenge. By holding the shot and following the act through every step of the way until we finally realize what's actually going on, there's a real sense of discomfort and tension that we wouldn't get in a traditionally shot and cut scene. It's a stroke of suspense genius."
Alright, this could be the thing.
We've talked about the naturalistic humor, and we've covered Anderson's specificity and techniques with creating tension. But for the final point, we're going to look at what happens when Anderson combines both conventions, suspense and humor. Perhaps one of the most iconic scenes in the movie takes place toward the end of the film. The setup is Eddie, Reed, and their druggy friend Todd are attempting to sell a wealthy drug dealer fake cocaine. Already, the stakes are high because the characters are putting themselves in a dangerous situation. The atmosphere, however, enhances the tension even more, but also introduces a level of absurdity with the music psychotically friendly dealer,
Yeah, right, yeah. Come on in.
and the random man throwing fireworks on the floor.
It's Cosmo. He's Chinese.
As stated before, Hitchcock said the key to suspense is to give the audience some crucial information that the characters lack. And this is partially true, since the audience knows the drugs are fake, but the dealer doesn't, though it goes deeper than that. The Journal by Smuts argues that suspense is created through both desire and frustration. The desire is for Eddie and Reed to leave, and the frustration is that they aren't taking action, and we as an audience cannot do anything to help them. Anderson, however, brilliantly and with great care, allows the audience bits and pieces of relief and breaks in the tension with humor. Normally this wouldn't work because the tension might lose its significance, but in this case, it feels natural and reminds us that these are dynamic, fleshed out characters.
So anyway, what's the price?
$5,000.
In a study performed in 2017, researchers wanted to find out what happens to the brain when viewing a suspenseful scene from a film. They found that almost all participants were more focused and were able to recall specific events from the sequence after viewing. I think it's plausible that we, as an audience, have a heightened sense of awareness when viewing a suspenseful scene, but only a true master, such as Paul Thomas Anderson, can achieve this level of suspense while also being able to find the humor in it.